Good evening to everybody. It's a special evening for all of us at Reasonomics. Uh, as you're all aware, Reasonomics is a flagship event of the Thought Leadership Forum of the WMG Elite. WMG Elite, sir, is a forum of various CXOs, mostly from Bangalore, curated by the WMG group from a wide range of diverse industries. The objective of this voluntary forum is to grow knowledge and learning and promote professional development through interaction, insights, and conversations. Today's very special episode focuses on the theme, Karnataka, Infinite Opportunities. We want to use this opportunity to understand how do we increase the employment index in Karnataka? How do we make Karnataka the most preferred state? How to enhance the state revenues that allows our state to provide better amenities to our students? How do we improve our rating in the ease of doing business? And what can we expect from the industries that are here in Karnataka, represented by the various CXOs out here? So there's a lot to talk about, there's a lot to hear, but to kick it off, I would request the Honorable Chief Minister to share his vision of what you think about Karnataka in the short, medium, and long term, and what you expect from the forum of people out here. Please, sir.
ಗುಡ್ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಎವ್ರಿಬಡಿ. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಜೆಂಟಲ್ಮನ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. One of my vision is next time when we meet, we should have minimum equal women in this hall. To be very frank with you people, I believe in woman power. By nature she is powerful. By nature she is sincere. By nature she is hardworking. And these are the ingredient, fundamental qualities for a state, for a society, or for an individual to grow infinitely. Here you have said that infinite opportunities. Infinite is something, it can be said beyond our imagination. It can be something which can't be calculated. That means it is something big, but that big we don't know what it is. So infinite can be also that we don't know what, in the other sense. But to explore the infinity, we should have some finite elements of thinking, finite elements of taking it forward, finite elements of road mapping. Then we can achieve the unachievable. That's what Karnataka is. Karnataka has got many opportunities, and we have got a definite road path, road map, and implementing strategies so that people who come and travel with us will not only achieve what they want, they will achieve beyond what they want. That is Karnataka. I am not saying just to flatter my own back. We have got a history. And each one of us are the beneficiaries of that history. I recognize the vision of the great Maharaja of Mysore. He was one of the most progressive, forward-looking Maharaja. He was the first person to start a college exclusively for women. He was the first person to start a bank. He was first person to start industries from ink to soap to the steel, paper. He was the first person to make use of the hydroelectric power opportunities in the state. The saga had begun, and after independence, thanks to our visionary leaders then, they have put everything at stake in Karnataka because they knew that Karnataka had talent, had technology, and had a men of great stature like M. Vishwesvaraya. So, the result is, we have defense industries, we have aerospace industries, we have heavy industries, we have high-tech industries, HMT, HAL, NAL, BML, BL, BHEL, you can name. The resultant of all this, as the world grew after Second World War, the technology had taken a new stride in all the fields. Then came, it was a electrical, mechanical base, then came electronics. Karnataka was one of the first state where electronic machines were there, electronic manufacturing was there, electronic engineers were there. That paved way for computer science. Without electronics, don't think of computer science. And parallelly, our engineering college grew. We are one of the oldest engineering college in country. So it was a hub of knowledge. It was a hub of knowledge. It's a repository of knowledge. It was a repository of technology. In Kannada, we say that Madulu Jnana, Madlu Akshara, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಜ್ಞಾನ, ಜ್ಞಾನ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ, ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನ, ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ತಂತ್ರಾಂಶ ಜ್ಞಾನ. That's computer science. Hence, we are pioneer in IT and BT. The first IT company was started in the country in Bangalore. The name is, I'm not able to recollect. It was inaugurated, my father, he was the industry minister then, 1984. It had its own stations. That's how it's all started. We had a very strong foundation of electrical, mechanical. Then in between we had electronics, then top we had computer science. What else the industry needs? Out of 3 M's which have been taught in our college, we have men here, that is technology and skill. And then we have the ecosystem which is so conducive. Therefore, all said and done, Mumbai, Maharashtra was a financial capital because of its trade, commerce. Then came manufacturing there. But the niche industries are there in Karnataka. That is our strength. That's our history. And that's why we are all beneficiaries. We have to recognize the first engineer who brought in mechanical machine, first engineer who did the electrification, the first engineer who converted the mechanical machine into CNC machine, electronics, then into the first man who brought in computerization in manufacturing. I salute those all first engineers. I recognize all those first engineers. And then we have to move on. Then we have to move on. We can't sit on the past glory. What I want from men in this hall is, as we remember the first engineer, after some years, after 1 decade or 2 decades or 3 decades, somebody should stand here and say that in this hall, such a high visionary technology was started by men who were sitting in this hall where there was infinite opportunities. And my government is ready to go walk an extra mile with you people. It is not just hand holding. Not just hand holding. We rub shoulder to shoulder with you, walk every step with you, and see that you are one of the most, not only successful people, you will be one of the achievers of this country. There is a lot of difference between success and achievement. Success is a small word. It's no more a big word. Achievement or achiever is a big word. Long back, Swami Vivekananda had said that, in Kannada it is there, sadhakanige savu antyavalla. Means for an achiever, death is not the end of it. An achiever is one who lives after death. So our goal should be to become an achiever, or I should achieve in such a way that people remember even after we are not there on this earth. That is the philosophy. We want to imbibe in the youngsters of the state that everyone should be an achiever. Then the state itself will be full of achievers. Coming back to the brass tacks, we have got a vision that our Prime Minister, Honorable Narendra Modi ji, is thinking of New India. A India full of opportunities for everybody. India should be a world leader in all the fields. And in that horizon of New India, what we see is that a new India can be achieved through New Karnataka. From New Karnataka to New India. He has said that by 2024, $5 trillion economy. So in that $5 trillion economy, I have got a vision that Karnataka should have minimum 1/3 of that share of $5 trillion. That is what finiteness of infinite. A lot of people might raise their eyebrows, how it is possible. Any big achievement starts from a thought. And that thought that we can achieve, that's a good enough. That's a springboard to achieve. And that thought has come to me. And I am a man in a hurry. 24 hours is a very small time for me. I am ready to work 24/7. Therefore, my goal is almost 1.5 trillion economy by 2024. Now, how it is possible? That's a big question. It is possible when there is a all-round growth. It is not that some sector have got a high peak growth and others have got a normal growth. No. There should be extraordinary growth in all the fields. And my dear friends, we should know our basics very well. 1% growth in agriculture brings in 4% growth in manufacturing and 10% growth in service sector. And Karnataka is a blessed land. Nature has been very kind. We have got 10 agroclimatic zones in Karnataka, 10 agroclimatic zones. We have got 300 days sunshine days in Karnataka. We have got rivers which start from the Western Ghat, flows into Bay of Bengal. So all length of Karnataka we have rivers. You see the map from northern Karnataka to southern Karnataka. They start from Western Ghat and come down after fulfilling all the needs of our people across Karnataka. We are blessed. Now how well we harness this? Once we have a very strong agriculture, then comes post-harvest agriculture, that is storing, logistics, marketing, value addition. When this comes, when there is a money in the pocket of the people, of a common man, then other things will start growing. Industry will start growing, the needs goes. Therefore, I have got my basics clear. I have to strengthen agriculture. Agriculture means not just production. End-to-end approach we have. Once that is done, when there is a purchasing power, then there will be thousands of CEOs like you who can provide the needs of the people and technology for the needs of the people. There is one interesting question. Whether the state should be rich or the people of the state should be rich. A lot of economists only think of GDP and how much it has added to the tax kitty. What is the growth? Only if the state becomes rich doesn't mean that people are happy or the real growth is there or that growth is sustainable. The sustainable good growth is when people are rich of the state or a country. Profit is not a bad word. No more. The Eastern Bloc thinks of equity. Equity means make everybody poor. I am not saying this in a hall of CEO. I say it with the farmers, with the laborers. I want motivate them that they should earn more because our economy moves. The movers and shakers of our economy are farmers and laborers. Bottom of the pyramid. For example, I can give money to make 100 kilometers of road. But if there is no labor or somebody who can put a tar, road will not happen by money. Once tar is laid, vehicles are moved, economy moves, it flows be money by tax. I'm just giving a small example. So we should have very clear in our mind that people who work for us are the partners in progress. Here it comes. Once Gandhiji said, country like India needs mass production. Doesn't need mass production, it needs production by masses. Not to take it very literally, but my aim, one of my policies will be, of course, there will be incentive for your investments. There will be incentive for all your technology you bring. Certainly, all those things which are there in our industry policy for 2025, which is one of the best industrial policy in the country. And we have got another policy, is to do business, where you can start up the business and get all the clearance within 2 years. So we are going to make much more simpler. We have brought in a lot of land reforms, where you can purchase directly the land from the farmers. All the impediments which were there in Revenue Act has been removed. It has become farmer friendly and industry friendly. But having said that, giving job to the people is an important task in front of me. Because we are producing almost more than 1 lakh engineers every year. And believe me, 65,000 of that doesn't have a job. And it is not just a BA, BCom, these are all BE graduates. Then we got a lot of technical courses, diplomas, ITIs. I know that ITIs and diplomas somehow get it, but not the engineering degree. It's no more. So, here is an area where we all should think how to create space for the youngsters to be our partners in our progress. That's why I am coming out with a new policy shortly. Policy on employment. This will be first of its kind in the country, where the policy will be, we will incentivize the companies which employ more. If you employ 100, X. If you employ 1,000, 10X. And we will see that employing will be easy, and having them employed, the entire relations should be much more cordial and easy. There should not be a pressure on the employer. With all friendly issues, I am going to bring a policy on employment. This is one way where we can ask the industry to employ more youngsters, talented youngsters, deserving youngsters. As far as women are concerned, see, we per capita income, we are almost third in the country. But the entire per capita income, it is contributed by just 30% of the population. Still 70% of the population doesn't contribute because they are only in sustainable earnings, where they earn for their livelihood. So I want to lift the people from their earning of the livelihood upwards, where their per capita income also increases and they also contribute to the GDP of the state, economy of the state. That's how our per capita income also increases. Especially for the woman, I'm going to roll out a lot of schemes, where we help a village woman. Her quality time has to be on economic activity. Now we see that even though she does a hard labor in the fields and in the house, in the home, it is not valued, it is not contributed. I want to bring it to the mainstream. A household homemaker should get at least 5 to 7, 8 hours where she can do such an activity where she can earn on daily basis, where she can earn and add to the kitty and ultimately contribute to the economy of the state. Especially OBC and SC/ST women, because they are very hard working, sincere, as well as their poverty itself is a driver to come out of it. And that is what it drives them, and we have to help them to drive. You must be wondering what all I've been talking. Because without people, economy is not there. We have to involve the people for the development of this nation. Machines can contribute, but machines are created by human beings. Machines are maintained by human beings. Therefore, in the entire growth chain, bottom of the pyramid is important. Human power is important. Technology is important. And maximizing the technology is important. And over and above that, ease to do business is very important. I will assure you that during my time, my regime, there will be no harassment, no notices unnecessarily, otherwise, where you have to spend your quality time into your business and development of your business, not running around the offices. Being one of the IT savvy state, all the clearances should come in your office through online. Therefore, to tell it in the other words, I believe you people. Your honesty, whatever you declare, I take it on face value and clear the projects. But one thing I want from all you people, that since this land has given us opportunity, land has given us all the facilities, we should owe our loyalty, our faith to this land, motherland of Karnataka, and people of Karnataka. I think I can go on. I'm just boring you people. To conclude, you are the future sitting in this hall. You're all CEOs. You are already a leaders. I want each one of you to come out with the flying colors. Fly high. Sky is the limit. That's why when I said open top, it was not just in a lighter vein. It was a serious comment that my government, sky is the limit. And when I saw here, I think your thinking and my thinking are same. You have said as infinite. I said sky is the limit. Both means the same. Let's go together. And what you have said, we make good. Just add one more word. We make good for everybody. Thank you. I'm sorry. My government is very keen in the new technologies, niche areas like semiconductor, renewable energy, electrical vehicles, hydrocarbon, hydrogen, and space technology, defense technology, to name a few. And you guys might have much more ideas. We are all for the new ideas for new Karnataka and new India.